Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to the end of the Year Fragcast, coming at you this Saturday afternoon. I am your co-host, Victor von Fragenstein.
And I'm Gapper.
And I think we can both agree that 2017 was most certainly a year that began with a 2 and ended with a 7. Your thoughts there, Gapper?
I concur with that analysis of the year.
Very much. So what better way to celebrate such a landmark year than a couple of white boys hanging out in the basement shooting the shit about video games?
Let's do it. So
2017, it was a year. And it wasn't, I wouldn't say a bad year, but not a good year. It was just kind of a year.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. I think it was a pretty good year, but I didn't have much time to play that many games this year.
Yeah.
I kind of do now, and I took a break from gaming for almost 2 months, but now we're back. And
2 months, you expect to hit it again hard, and then there really isn't
well,
all that
when
much
I hit it hard, I played like Final Fantasy X and just old games. So
all the remasters. Well, there was quite a few remasters this year.
Yeah.
I will give it that. And I did enjoy the Final Fantasy X remaster.
Final Fantasy X I never beat as a kid. And I went back and I was just like, I got about 8 hours in and I was like, hey, this is as far as I ever got as a child. And then like 50 hours later, I was like, okay, I beat the game now, finally. But
Final Fantasy X, personal best, making it through.
Personal best, finally did it. Because I had it on the PS2 when I was just a young kid there, and I guess I thought that once I killed the one big guy, maybe I beat the game. I don't know. But
you thought you were stuck at the last boss?
Yeah,
and you
maybe.
Were just stuck at,
I don't know. There was a lot of things I could have got stuck on at the kid in between there.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. You'd be like, man, this guy was a bitch when I was 12. And then you come back and just like, I stomped this guy into the ground.
I pretty much stomped the whole game except for Jet.
Okay.
He was a couple tries.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No, let's talk about some newer games.
Let's talk about some newer games. Well, there was some stuff that kicked ass, and there was some stuff this year that needed its ass kicked.
Yeah.
So, some of the newer stuff. Big hit for me. One of the biggest. I'm super glad they're finally getting recognition. Nier Automata.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got a chance to get into that one.
I haven't yet. I was gonna pick it up when there was the Game of the Year award sale on.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, maybe in the winter sale there'll be a better deal on it. But it's not even on sale now.
Oh, it's not on the Steam winter sale?
No, it's not on the winter sale.
Lame.
Unless they added in later, hopefully. But
I was gonna say I got it half off. I can't remember what I got it with. It was, or maybe it was 40% off, but I got it something off. Worthwhile purchase either way.
Yeah.
I'm glad Platinum Games finally getting some recognition. This is kind of their first big hit, even though they've made probably, I'd say, a dozen other games that really aren't that different in playstyle than this, like that same kind of fast action brawler. In fact, I believe you were playing Metal Gear Revengeance earlier today, which is, again, made by the same studio.
Yeah, that game, so I'm not very far into it, but I was just like, and I'm not like that big into the Metal Gear universe, but my one buddy Andy told me, he's like, you should get this game, and I saw it for like $8 on Steam, and
oh geez, for $8,
I was like, all right, I'll give it a go, and then I turned it on today. I'm like, all right, see what this is about, and then all of a sudden I'm just slashing
giant
limbs
robots,
off of giant robots and
cyborgs,
and it was pretty crazy. I really hate Raiden's voice.
Yeah, same.
But,
he's a little annoying. But the gameplay in that is a blast. I love the parts where you get the super... I forget what it's called, but you know where you get the super move and then you get the free-form slashing.
Yeah.
With,
well, I'm playing on PC. I just hold shift and then just mash the left and right mouse button again to do like vertical and horizontal slashes. So
yeah, it's a
that
blast.
was neat.
I will say that is one, even on PC, benefits from picking up a gamepad.
Yeah, I think I will play with the gamepad. Is there much shooting in that game?
And I don't recall there being a whole ton.
I had an RPG, but it was like janky. It was stuttering when I would move with it, so I think I will go to a controller since it's more hack and slash, so it will be better.
And the sword parts are a lot more fun with you go left, right, up, down, all that. But that's a blast. But anyway, Platinum Games, for those who haven't played Bayonetta or any of those, they've made about a dozen games in that line. Transformers Devastation was pretty good, and they've all been very solid games that pretty much like... Even, I'm not usually agreeing with video game critics, but they'll usually be like, yeah, this is a really solid action brawler. And then 3 people buy it. And they do the same thing. And they did the same thing again with Nier. And same deal, same kind of great action-focused gameplay. And now, finally, they're on the map. So that really makes me happy. Okami, which just got a HD re-release. That's Platinum as well, I believe. Or at least it was the same designers before they formed Platinum, if memory serves.
Yeah, I played a bit of Bayonetta on Wii U.
Yeah.
But then I just kind of gave up on Wii U, but...
Same.
Maybe I'll get it on Switch. I don't know.
Who knows? Well, Bayonetta is also on Steam now.
Yeah, I guess. It's probably on Steam, so check that out.
Yeah, actually.
I want to pick up Nier.
Near's very worthwhile.
And I heard though you need to get like a patch to like I guess the port wasn't very good to PC or something. Did you have to do
I didn't have that a huge problem, but I did not get it on release. I got it sometime afterwards, so I don't know if I had already gotten a patched version or not.
I thought it was like a third party kind of patch. Just
I had heard that when it came out, but again, maybe I didn't get into it a few months, so I think they've done a self update. I didn't have any huge problems. But again, that's the one fault of PC gaming is that what works on one PC might not work on 90% of others.
Yeah. And that's when people are complaining about games a lot now. Because the last couple months, all I've really played is PC. I've kind of abandoned my Xbox.
Yeah, fair enough.
And just playing PUBG and the settings on it, and just seeing how some people's settings are like, the game runs like crap. But it's like, your computer's probably like 4 years old. So it's kind of weird. But my buddies got it on Xbox, and it looks terrible.
Yeah, no, that's
absolutely terrible.
It's the thing, and I understand why they have to do it, because they have to optimize it so that, they can play. And PUBG is honestly one of those ones. It's more about the gameplay than graphics. But that being said, I understand why.
It affects the gameplay pretty huge on,
exactly.
on the regular Xboxes. The buildings don't render in. I've been watching my friends on Mixer, and they've been playing, and they'll parachute in, and they'll fall on the building, and they'll keep falling through the building because it hasn't rendered in for them to land on it.
Oh, so it's not just visually not rendering. The game's just not
The game's
popping
just
it
not
in.
popping in.
Geez.
My one friend once the game rendered in, he was in a box. He was in a metal box that he couldn't get out of. He was stuck in there, like in a cage, basically.
So it didn't render in, but then when it rendered, he was in the center
he was
of it.
Trapped,
He couldn't get out. May as well have fallen through the floor.
Yeah. So that's some issue. But we'll talk about that when we get to PUBG. But
Speaking of PUBG, the official 1.0 release coming out, which is basically beta version 2 that we're calling 1.0. Don't get me wrong, it's a really solid game, and I can see why it's so popular, but there is no way that is anywhere close to complete.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I really don't like it that much, to be honest.
Yeah. It's not my style. It's one of those ones I'll drop in, I'll play a game or two, but I don't get the people, it's the same thing that happened with Minecraft. There's this whole streaming almost industry. It's not just streamer, it's PUBG streamer has popped up around it. I don't get it. I don't, you play for 5 hours for one really cool moment or something like that, where you kill 3 guys with a frying pan or some stupid thing.
It's exciting when there is action, but the in between is just running simulator.
Yeah. And hoping no one shoots you from the top of the hill.
Lately I just started going into just the most dangerous areas, just so it's either it's fun moments and we come out of it on top, or we die really quick,
gloriously and move on to the next one.
The other day, yesterday, we spawned in at the school. I landed on top of the school. Yeah. And another guy landed right on top of a gun. I didn't have anything, so I ran around. I saw him. He saw me. So he starts chasing after me. I run off the roof down the stairs. Go down the hall into a room. I can hear him coming behind me. I jump out the window, then back in the first floor window, and then I hear him just probably looking out just to see if he could shoot me running off. Yeah. I find a Uzi, grab it, run back upstairs, kill him, kill his partner, and then
nice.
And then my buddy was able to come up and help me out too. But it was like a fun moment like that. It's the moments like that are fun, but it's not really my kind of game.
I think
overall.
I think what makes it interesting is that I like to play games. I don't want to say I have to win all the time, but I don't play just to fuck around, right? I like to actually challenge myself. And the problem with PUBG for me is that by playing it well, you have to play it in the most boring way.
Yes. Yeah, and that's the other thing. So I've been playing duos, and if my friend would die, he's like, all right, just play to go kill people, don't play to win, basically.
Yeah.
Where some people can do that.
Yeah.
Like my friend who plays on Xbox, he gets 9 kills a game almost all the time.
Nice.
He gets so many kills, but he was winning quite a bit because the aiming is just terrible on it.
I can imagine.
It's a terrible game. It's a terrible game on Xbox.
I can't imagine playing that without a mouse.
I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah. Because there's no aim assist on console for it too. So most console players aren't used to not having.
Because you're used to Call of Duty type things.
Used to Call of Duty where you aim down sights and just walk straight onto them.
Yeah, there's no 360 no scopes in PUBG.
The fights just look hilarious. Just everyone's just potato aim.
Spraying stuff everywhere. Spray and pray.
And I played the new map there yesterday. I don't know if you've played it yet.
I haven't. I haven't played actually in a couple of weeks now.
I've only played on it twice. It's kind of neat. Just there's a lot of open space, and one thing is just I don't know the map yet. I don't know where things are gonna be.
Yeah,
I landed in this water treatment plant. And I'm like, okay, where is stuff going to be around here? Like, I know on the original map, like, what building stuff's going to be in, where to kind of look, but I just don't know yet. But I think it's a pretty cool map. It's a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, overall, it's pretty decent.
Yeah, overall, it's an okay game. I don't understand quite why it's gotten as popular as it has. I understand why people would like it, but it's one of those games I just don't get the mass appeal, I guess, because it doesn't seem like a game a lot of people... Again, it's almost more fun to watch and just fuck around in than it is to do...
Well, and I had an issue there for a while where every time I would end a game, it would just restart my computer.
Oh, that's well, again, 1.0 is I'm saying this with air quotes since you can't see me. Version 1.0 is very much, there should be a decimal point in front of it.
Well, I actually ended up just, I changed out my power supply, and I changed out my CPU cooler just to see if that helped. And it did. I haven't had any problems with it yet.
But that means it was either causing overdraw or overloading your CPU, and that's not something, because the game, for those who have not played, looks okay, but not that great. No. And it should not...
You're at a disadvantage if you play it on the highest settings anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So that's not... It's not a game that should be overheating your CPU.
No.
It should not. But anyway, so there we go. But I think that counts as kind of one of the big events of the year, even if it wasn't one I was into.
Yeah. No, it's a huge game. It's got a lot of following. A lot of people are liking it. Millions of copies sold, and
I think it's out something like the 10th most sold game of all time or something at this point. Something ridiculous like that.
Finished game.
Yeah, not even finished. Though, of course, most sold game of all time being Minecraft, which is also not finished. Yeah. So, never will be, probably.
Never. No, it's kind of Minecraft's kind of just a continuous thing, like mods and everything.
It's almost barely a game. It's like, here's the framework for a game.
Yeah, and you kind of make your own thing in that world. Yeah. Where I don't know, it's.
I think PUBG is probably definitely.
But I heard there's going to be some big changes coming out. The Chinese publisher Tencent, they're going to be making like the exact same thing, and then they're going to. I guess the game will be banned in China, so there won't be as many Chinese players on like North American servers and stuff. Because I hear that they like to come on North America because they think we're easy prey or something. Yeah. Because I do hear a lot of people talking over VoIP and that sound like they're from China.
That'll be interesting to see. Of course, Notch doesn't care, being already a billionaire, having sold the game. By the way, easiest way to summon Notch's attention on Twitter.
That's for PUBG.
Oh, for PUBG. Sorry, I thought you were talking about Minecraft.
No. But no, it's just it's kind of weird. So.
Interesting. Okay, well, we'll see where that goes. That's some interesting news. Other stuff that's kind of kicked ass this year. I was not a huge fan of it, but I think it was a step in the right direction. Resident Evil 7.
Didn't get it.
Okay.
Waiting for VR.
Same. I have not gotten it, but I have played it.
Yeah.
It feels like a step in the right direction, because as much as I love Resident Evil 4, after 4, the game turned into less of a kind of horror survival series and more into just a straight up, action run and gun. It was a very good run and gun in number 4. 5 and 6, maybe not so much.
The only one I've ever played was 5, and I had a lot of fun.
5 was okay. 5 wasn't bad. I didn't mind. I didn't like the partner system, was what I didn't like about 5. 5 was a lot like 4, honestly, but 4 you just had Leon running around.
Yeah. I played 5 with my buddy Player, rest in peace. But it was a good game. But we did it quick enough to get the RPG, or I think that was the unlock.
Yeah, the rocket launcher. I think for beating it in so much time, that's cool. But so 7 I think is a step in the right direction. I don't have a VR headset, but Gapper here does have the Vive.
I don't know if it works right now.
Yeah,
I've been having some problems with it, and since I wiped my computer, I haven't really tried to reinstall it to see if it works. But
we'll come
see.
By and give that. See what we can do.
I'll try to fix it. Because I did get it working again when I basically uninstalled all of Steam and just reinstalled it, but then it worked for like a day, and it stopped working. I'm like, well, I'm not going to uninstall Steam every time I want to.
I got to reinstall Steam every time I want to play a VR game.
I have fast internet and unlimited internet, but I don't want to get rid of everything every time I want to play VR.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a pain in the ass. Speaking of which, something that completely failed to impress anybody in 2017, VR. There was very, very little, and what little did come was basically stripped down versions of pre-existing games.
Yeah, I haven't really bought anything new.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything come out. There has been, anything that's come out for VR, not like, we've got, all these versions which are basically standstill shooter versions of existing shooter games, like your Serious Sam.
And like when you've played one of them, they're kind of all just the same.
Yeah, exactly.
So
but there hasn't really been no one's really come out with a good game that's like, this is for VR.
Have you seen on Twitch VR chat?
No.
Have you seen this? Okay.
Is this just where people put on headsets and talk to each other?
No, so basically it's like, You're talking to each other. There's like bars and different scenes you can go into, but everyone has like an avatar, so you can be like. There's just a bunch of like waifus and lollies walking around, and just it's really weird. Like it's the strangest thing.
Why am I not surprised? That's what's everywhere. In
everyone's a trap.
Everyone's a trap.
It's
VR
just,
lollies traps.
Yeah, I've been watching some stuff on Twitch, and it's just the most absurd stuff.
See, I could see getting like 10 minutes of entertainment out of that or something.
Just tune in every while, but it's mainly just people freaking out and yelling and just trying to like stream snipe and just.
And let me guess, they're probably also talking in bad Japanese accents.
No, not really.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check this out.
There was one guy. He just comes up. He's like, "I'm Knuckles," and that's all he says over and over. Or there was this like potato sack guy. I was watching like Lyric play, and there's this potato sack, and he just comes up and he's just like. And that's all he does. Like, there's just these people that are just playing these funny characters, and I don't know. It was weird. It's fun to watch. I've watched a couple other people play it on Twitch. While I've been playing Final Fantasy, I've been watching a lot of stuff on Twitch and Netflix while I'm just grinding, getting the sphere grids up.
The sphere grids up. I could see that being entertaining. But yeah, overall, I think VR so far. I think a major studio or two need to take a bit of a gamble and say, look, we're going to dump 10 or 20 million into a VR game and not this is a game we already had. So no Doom VR, Serious Sam VR, Fallout VR,
I haven't tried them. I haven't really even looked into them at all.
Well, we did the Serious Sam one, I think.
Yeah, we did Serious Sam, but the Doom and the Fallout, I actually saw a gif of a Fallout one today where like a mole rat just like jumped out on the guy and he was freaking out. Yeah. But I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't look.
I didn't really like Fallout 4 that much anyway. Like,
no,
I got a bit into it, but then I was just kind of like.
I tried to get back into it because I
saw you playing on Steam a bit there.
Yeah, I hadn't played the Nuka World, and I tried to get back into it because I love the Fallout universe. It's one of my favorite game universes of all time. There is not a Fallout game I've played that I disliked, but 4 just has no legs. You get into it, you play for a while, and you're like, okay, so I'm now going to do the same random side quest 36 times, or I'm going to sit around killing things for materials to build up my settlements. Yeah. And I couldn't get into it. I was really disappointed. It isn't a terrible game. I can't shit on it and be like,
it's not a bad game. Like, it's fun, the parts I did play, but once I got, I don't know, a little bit in, I was just like, okay, like, I'm good now.
It's a game you'll dump 150 hours into, but only get 25 hours of fun out of that, I think. It's that kind of game. So, because
I had no interest in the base building.
Yeah, I tried it, and then I built, like, one cool base, and I'm like, okay, this has taken me, 10 hours of grinding materials and building up. But then I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this for the 15 other bases I have. This is really kind of boring. Yeah. And it's like, show up and defend the base. If you don't defend the base, half of it gets wrecked. If you do show up, one ghoul takes out your 36 guys armed with power armor. Yeah. It just didn't make sense to me. But yeah, so I did try that again, didn't get back into it. But other games that I did thoroughly enjoy, Total War Warhammer 2.
Yes.
Love the first one. Second one I haven't really got into yet. I haven't bought my own copy yet, but I played a friend's. First was great. This one just adds more to it, really.
Yeah, I've actually been playing a lot of Total War.
Yes, I've seen that a lot on Steam.
Yeah, my one buddy Andy there got #1, and we did a Wood Elf and Empire campaign.
Very nice. How are the Wood Elves? I'm told they play a little different.
They're a little different, like... You don't really get to... when you take over another faction settlement, you can take over every faction settlement, but you can only build one building there.
Oh, okay.
So, you can... But it's like a lot of the bonuses, it might be like a 2% income faction-wide, or some resources, trade materials. The only thing that sucked, when we did our playthrough, for me to be able to get a lot more money... I needed to confederate the other 3 Wood Elf factions. So I built the tree of the Tree of Ages up to level 3, which says you're supposed to get the ability to confederate the other Wood Elves. Their reputation was high, but I guess since the Norska expansion for #1, Wood Elves for some reason can't confederate anymore. So it really kind of ruined I wouldn't say it ruined the game. But
it screwed up your playthrough because you were planning
on my playthrough, because instead of fighting them early on when I would have been a pretty even fight and would have been able to take them, their garrisons are insane.
Oh yeah, Wood Elf garrisons. When I played the Orc campaign, getting through those garrisons was holy crap.
Yeah, and you can't fit that many armies close in too. Like, it's very sectioned off. They get so much bonus to range. They get bonuses to fighting in forest. They never leave their base.
Yes.
So they always have like. Near the end of near when I was like, I need to kill them now, they had like an army and a half plus their garrison. I was like, well, I can't take that. So I just kept being friends with them. But I basically was friends with everyone on the map except for the vampires and the orcs.
Yeah.
I was in a military alliance with all the dwarves,
Yeah.
with most of the humans, and was at peace with most people. But then the stupid wood elves that I couldn't confederate and I couldn't put down kept declaring war on my allies.
Being a bunch of dickheads.
And then it's like, well, they haven't left their base yet. I don't think they leave their base.
Yeah.
So then I would not, I'd be like, well, I guess I gotta break the alliance, and everyone hate me, and it just ruined everything, not being able to either pacify or subjugate them into and make them a vassal. I couldn't even get them to be a vassal because I couldn't get the rotation high. So that was pretty bad, but the Wood Elves by themselves, I played as Durathu.
Yep.
I had just so many Treekin.
Nice.
Branch Wraiths to heal them. Forest dragons are amazing.
Nice.
And the thing that's great is if you can take over all the coastline.
Yeah.
That's how I had to get my money because I couldn't take over any of their bases to make more money. But in the tech tree, there's a 4,000% increase to ports. So I took over all of Norska, all of those ports, and I was making and by the end of the game, I had 300,000 in the bank.
Holy crap!
Because they get huge bonuses for raising in post-loot battles.
Oh, okay.
So I was financing my buddy who was the Empire and struggling. I was financing him the whole game, and then I was taking over all the port towns, and I was just making so much bank for a while. And then at the end, I had 5 armies. And was able to go with pretty beefy armies too.
Yeah.
Just the annoying thing was just Beastmen always coming in.
Yeah, those fucking Beastmen always showing up.
Oh,
so
we started a Chaos Beastman campaign. We're 40 turns in. Yeah, that's what we've been doing for Total Warhammer 1. And then number 2, I played one game or one. No, I had one almost full campaign. And a little bit of a elf campaign that was 54 hours.
Okay.
For just those, I think I might have left my computer on for some of that time.
That happens sometimes.
But no, the Lizardmen are amazing.
I've wanted to give the Lizardmen a go. That's what's going to get me into that.
They're awesome because the thing with them is they don't retreat. They just get crazier. When they're losing, they just go on a rampage and just do more damage.
Nice.
And don't retreat.
So you just leave your wounded
you can't control them. They just go berserk.
Oh, they just start killing shit?
Yeah, they just start killing shit, and it's awesome. Tomb Kings are coming out soon. I don't
know,
know if you saw the trailer for that.
I have not seen the trailer for that. Tomb Kings.
I will definitely be getting that DLC because they look awesome.
Nice. So maybe we'll do a Tomb King Lizardman campaign. Yeah. That would be a little bit
fun. And
then
the Grand campaign came out.
Yes.
So Mortal Realm. No, not Mortal Realm. What is it called? I don't know. Both maps, one campaign.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to start it out, but I heard that there's some issues where when chaos come, when you do your rituals, or just when chaos comes, there'll be a 7 stack of chaos just rolling together, and I guess it's just super hard, super overpowered.
Well, we'll see. Maybe they'll patch it and update it because that's a relatively recent addition. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but no, that series is just so much fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like it.
Cool. Well, before we get into what I'm going to call my games of the year, my really favorite ones, let's talk a little bit about what sucked ass this year and really needs its ass kicked. So the big thing to me that stuck out was this seemed to be the year of the ridiculous microtransactions.
Yeah.
The big ones that got me, Star Wars, of course, is the big controversy out there.
Yeah, that was a huge controversy.
The other one was Shadow of War.
I didn't get.
I didn't get into it, but I heard there was a bit of an issue where you can't. Certain parts of the single player campaign require not the multiplayer, but the single player campaign require either hundreds of hours of grinding or the purchase of microtransactions.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I didn't purchase it for that a little bit of that reason, and I just didn't feel like getting into a game that was going to be would have to grind and take a whole bunch of time.
Yeah, I liked the first game. I really liked Shadow of Mordor.
First one was excellent,
but I didn't feel as if I needed one. I didn't enjoy the part of the first one. I didn't enjoy. I liked the fact that you could get guys and control them, but I didn't feel like I wanted to control armies. I liked the fact that I could get a couple of orcs fighting each other while I run through the back and snipe the leader and climb the tower and stuff. It didn't feel like a good fit for a war game, so I didn't get into it. But to keep more on the microtransaction side, I'll start off with where I stand with microtransactions. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, and I know I'm not an economist and I'm not a game designer. There should be no microtransactions in any single-player game, period. Now, multiplayer, I understand, because if someone wants to say, listen, we're not going to release paid DLCs, instead we're going to have microtransactions, etc., I can understand that, because once the game is out, if they want to keep it running, if it doesn't keep generating income, I understand that. Yeah. But for the single-player game, I should never need microtransactions in order to enjoy the single player game, because it's like, oh, this game's really fun, but you have to grind for 20 hours between missions, or you can pay $5.
Yeah,
that's nonsense in single player.
No, for a single player game, it should be, oh, I want to get this really cool, say, outfit or whatever. Okay, what are the materials so I can craft it?
Yeah,
you go and you do that, and not like a huge grindy thing. Just you got to go do that. You just go kill it. You get it. You do it. Weapons, like, oh, if I want a good weapon, I have to go kill this really cool guy that's going to drop it. Like, it shouldn't be anything game-changing in a single-player game for microtransactions.
They should not... What microtransactions should not do is annoy the player into buying them.
No.
You know what I mean? That's what gets me, is it should not be like, oh, you can do this really boring thing 100 times. And my screen went, okay, we're still recording. Sorry about that. You can do this really boring thing 100 times... Or you can pay $5. The game should not work that way in single player. And in multiplayer, it should be the same thing. It should be anything that you can get paid via microtransactions should be reasonably, and that's the key word, reasonably available to regular players of the game through gameplay. So, okay, maybe you're not going to get this for 10 hours of gameplay otherwise, but you shouldn't not be able to have fun without it. So, a guy who comes in and buys everything, let's say, they say, okay, I buy the unlock pack, I want to get whatever. And I'm not going to pick on specific ones for this. It shouldn't make it unfun for free players to play, because they already paid $70 for the game.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where I stand, and I'm glad people made a ruckus about this, because it's been inching into games little by little. I think Mass Effect 3 was the first one it kind of snuck into, where you had to play the loot box based multiplayer to get the best ending of the single player game.
The thing with it too, it was a terrible multiplayer.
Oh yeah,
like it wasn't fun at all.
Yeah,
like it was just awful.
Yeah.
But no, microtransactions have been inching in and in for a while now. First with like just straight up DLC. Like I remember the worst was just the Assassin's Creed games where they would cut out like chapters like
there's a
9
chapter
to 13
chapters
then
in the game
then
missing.
14 to 16 you would have played during the actual game you bought, and then they added in DLC later that was, and like the missions were like half an hour and it was stupid. But like when I was like, I don't know how old I was. It would have been like a teenager maybe then, but I was like, oh yeah, cool, like I like this game, like I want to play more of it. And then after that I was like, that was stupid.
Yeah, and I think I think the big problem with it too is licensing. Because, for example, we'll pick on Star Wars, because that's the one everyone picked on.
Yeah, that one.
They can't say, look, we're going to make this Star Wars game. And someone else is going to say, look, I'm going to make a good Star Wars shooter that doesn't have microtransactions, right? It's based on the IP, not the quality of the game. So that's where the problem lies, because if it isn't, someone else could say, you know what, I'm going to make a really good Star Wars game, you're going to pay $70 for it, and that's all you're going to pay. Yeah. And if you pay $10 for a DLC, that's going to give you 10 new maps or whatever it is. So that's what bugs me about this kind of thing. And I'm not talking about free-to-play games, because I understand if the game is quote-unquote free, someone has to pay for it. So yes, you got to put microtransactions in.
I've been watching like PoE streams lately, and I started playing a little bit, but like the PoE, it's a free game. There's so much content in that game, but a lot of the streamers, and there's like definitely whales in that game. Like I think the one guy I watched him play a bit, he's spent like $1,300 on just microtransactions in that game. And I wouldn't say the game's pay to win. Like it just pay to make your guy look sick.
It is. Well, I'll say
but you should be able to look sick without having to spend money.
Exactly. Well, I played Path of Exile almost from the beginning. Yeah. And it was actually, there was not a lot of content at the beginning. The basic campaign took maybe 15 hours to play through, and that was it. But what I do like with them is I think actually I'm fine with paying for your guy to look sick. And the reason is that doesn't affect the gameplay at all. And everything in it that you could buy was also grindable and reasonably grindable. I forget what it was called. It looked like a little angry face, but that was the thing that you could either buy or play through the game to get. And basically all
I'm fine with stuff like that, where it's, you can, if you play the game enough, you can unlock it, but you can also buy it. Because I have done that with Siege. Like it's like that in Siege.
But it's not an aggravating amount of gameplay. The game is still fun. It's not like I have to waste 20 hours doing something boring to do something fun. The game is fun, and the more you play it, the more stuff you get. Or throw them a few bucks. I think Path of Exile, honestly, is probably the best example. And they said right from the start, they call it ethical microtransactions, where they don't affect the game, and I agree with that thing. I think, and the success of that, because to me that's the real Diablo 3. Because it's Diablo 3 isn't a bad game, but it's not like Diablo 2. Path of Exile was Diablo 3 for me.
So back to Star Wars.
Back to Star Wars.
The progression system they originally had was terrible.
It was
the worst. Like if it had come out the way they wanted to,
Yeah.
It was the worst progression system ever. Yeah, it's completely tied. It's like a mobile game where everything's tied to opening loot boxes to just get your guns, level up your guns, and then you have to, like, you're gonna get emotes and stupid stuff like Like, if everything is game changing, I don't want cosmetics. Like, I want guns. I don't want a victory pose, because how am I going to ever win if everyone's overpowered?
Well, that's exactly it. You grinded for 20 hours and got 3 new poses. Someone else grinded for 20 hours and got a new gun and a 20% damage boost and Darth Vader. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me to do it that way. And it's not this is the thing. In a collectible card game or something like that, like a loot type of game, I can understand.
That's fine.
It's random loot boxes. The best way I can think of an example is the old Battlefield games did the best. Okay, you're playing the engineer, you get points towards upgrading the engineer and the engineer's weapons. You should not be like, oh, I played the engineer and I won a match and I got a pose for the medic. Yeah. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. Or like in
Battlefield 4, through playing, you would get loot boxes that would give you like scopes and stuff. Yeah. And you would get one specifically for the gun, or you would get them when you leveled up. And you would get the loot boxes, which would give you like attachments and stuff. Nothing terribly game changing.
Yeah, you could enjoy the game perfectly well with it.
Just basically weapon attachments.
Yeah. In my opinion,
was fine.
And I think we're going to see a lot more cracking down on this, because I don't know if you've heard this. Apple is now requiring all App Store games to disclose their odds of what everything is. And several countries in Europe are banning loot boxes outright. And I think we're going to see more of this, because the fact of the matter is, I don't care what you want to say about it, it is gambling. If you are paying money to receive something, not in-game currency that you earn, not, I found a treasure chest in a game, but I'm paying real money.
I told you about my friend's kid who spent $513 in Call of Duty coins, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you mentioned that before. Yeah. And it is gambling. And I think 100% it should not be available, especially to kids. But I think it should be that any rules that apply to gambling should apply to any game in which you can gamble with real money in it.
Yeah.
And people say, you won't be able to buy Magic the Gathering booster packs anymore because those are random. Fucking good. I'm sorry, but the idea of I'm going to spend money and I don't know what I'm getting, this should not be part of anything, because that's not part of the game.
Yeah.
I used to play I don't know if you knew, I used to play Magic the Gathering semi-professionally. I played on the DCI Tour, wasn't super great or anything, but I played a lot, traveled all over to play in the big tournaments. That's not part of the game. The joy is in the game. And if you want to collect, you should be able to say, listen, I'm going to spend $10, I want these 3 cards. Now I'm going to spend $10 and I buy 2 packs and maybe one of them has a card I want. It's true, it's as much gambling in the real world as it is in the game. So to people who say, there's not going to be any more of this allowed, I'm okay with that. I don't think a 10-year-old kid should be able to throw down $10 and not know what he's getting.
No. See, as a kid, I used to always just do chores and stuff because I liked opening packs of Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
But the fun was opening the pack, but then you're just like, I didn't get anything I wanted. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like, okay, well, I guess I'll do some more chores so I can get more money, buy more packs, right? Like,
and I'm not saying it's not fun.
No, it's fun opening them.
Yeah.
But you have no control, and
it is gambling. Nice. It's just that simple.
When you're trying to build a deck, when you're playing professionally, you want certain cards. So either you I don't know, you probably
you don't buy you buy a couple of boxes, you sell the excess on eBay or whatever, and then you buy the ones you need. Yeah. But this is the thing: gambling is fun. Don't get me wrong. I understand this. Poker's fun. Blackjack's fun. There's a reason we don't.
I went to the casino for the first time like a month ago.
Yeah.
And I walked in there, and the lights and sounds and everything, I'm like, okay, like I see what they're doing here.
Yeah.
And then like I sit down, I'm like, okay, like I've never really played slots before. I've been to a casino once before, lost $10 and quit.
Yeah.
So I walk up and I like press the button and it like rolls and it's like like making crazy noises. I'm like, okay, I think I'm doing good. Like, and then it's just like, I'm like, okay, I don't think I won. But then it just draws like a zigzag across the screen.
Yeah.
It's like, you win 10 cents.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you bet $1 and you won 10 cents off of it.
I'm like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, to me, slot machines was in Pokemon when you'd like go to the casino and pocket Pokemon, and then you'd just have the 3 things. These ones had multiple things, so much going on. It was just like, how does anyone know how to win at this?
Yeah, like, exactly. And even for the people who know, though, it's gambling. Gambling's fun, but it shouldn't be a part of the game, because the game should be the game. And if your game's a casino game and you're not betting real money, then great. But if you're paying real life money, you shouldn't be gambling with it. And I think that's pretty much where I stand.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping as more and more especially, governments get on top of it. I don't want it to be unreasonably.
The press conference in Hawaii, and then I think the Belgians, they were talking about
Belgium is that it's going to be outright banned. Yeah. You cannot spend real money. And they've actually gone further to say, I forget what they said, it was like end game content, but basically they're saying you can't even gamble with any in-game money in games that involve microtransactions. So even if let's say the game has microtransactions.
So like Rainbow Six Siege. So you can get Renown or you can get RS6 coins.
Correct.
So the alpha packs, you can't actually buy Renowned.
Yeah.
And in alpha packs, you can only buy them with Renown. Would that be outlawed? Or
yes. So any game in which you can either earn the currency or buy it,
you can't buy it.
Okay. Well, if you can't buy it, I think
that'd be
fine. But for example,
I like that about Rainbow Six is like you can buy skins, you can buy like outfits, whatever.
Yeah.
That's cool. Sport in the game. I actually bought the Pro League skin because I was just like, that just looks too cool.
Got to be MLG Pro, bro.
I was like, Buck, like he's one of my favorites, Canadian operator.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I want that hockey mask. That black outfit looks sweet. I'm like, nice. I hated doing it. I still feel bad about doing it. I don't even like saying that I spent money buying an outfit in the game. But it looks sweet. I'm glad I did it. And
but you knew what you were buying, and you liked it.
I knew what I was buying. Right? Like, whereas in the game, so every time you win, like your meter fills up, and then when you win, you spin, you can get an alpha pack, but there's no way to actually buy alpha packs. You can just buy what you want, which is great.
Yeah.
So if more stuff can be like that, I think that's fine.
That's the way it should be. But
you can unlock most of the stuff just through grinding.
Yeah, exactly.
You're playing the game, it's not grinding.
Yeah, exactly. You're playing the game. That's the difference. There's a difference between a grind and just playing the game and slowly building up to it. But anyway, I think that's probably enough talk about that. We really will have to see, but I think 2018 we are going to see a lot of countries and states.
Well, China's already had the whole tell us your odds thing for a year now.
Exactly. So I think we're going to see a lot, but I think we're going to see a lot more regulating it the same way with gambling. They're going to say, listen, you cannot sell this game to people under 18 if it contains real money gambling in it. I think is going to be becoming a thing.
But the thing too is most of Call of Duty and stuff, those games already aren't supposed to be played by children, and children are playing them anyways.
Exactly.
So what is it like? It's not like a casino where you go there and there's a security guard that cards you. It's the same thing as it has already in games where if you can just get your mom or dad to buy it for you and you're a 12-year-old kid and you get it and you gamble.
This is 100% true. I think it's going to be more along the lines of things saying where they're going to companies are going to have to verify it or they're going to receive fines. I think is more likely the way they'll go. Well, they'll say, listen, you have to have something where it's like, okay, they have to enter the credit card number every time they want to buy it. And that way, if the kid doesn't have the credit card,
that was the problem with my friend's kid. Is, I guess on PlayStation it just authorizes it for a couple days.
Yeah, I have it set. For example, my Google is the same way. You can set it so that once you've entered it once, you only have to remember the 3-digit security code on the back. I have mine set so you must enter my Google password every time you want to spend money. But that's not what it defaults to. It defaults to once you've entered it once. So, for example, if I did it and the kid memorized the 3-digit, and then let's get this straight, a 5-year-old can memorize a 3-digit number off the back of my card. Say I gave that to my kid and said, oh, play on this for 2 hours. He could be like, oh, look, $100 bonus packs. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's the same thing. So I think
and it'll be weird to see how government regulation is never good.
It's never good too much, but I think.
But this year they went crazy and they went too far. They tried for too much, and it's gonna burn them.
Well, this is the problem: is people need to understand that delicate balance of saying, listen, if you push too far, that's when people will step in to regulate it. Like if you have people doing things like, having kids can spend hundreds of dollars on gambling items, that's when the government's going to come in and say, listen, this is going to be a problem. If you don't let that happen, if you had a kid who spent $500 on a game and, an hour later your parent calls them and said, listen, my kid spent that $500, refund it. And they just refunded it, that wouldn't be a problem. You know what I mean? But the problem is that you're going to get people coming in who said, oh, I spent $500 gambling. That was my son. When it's really a person who just didn't get the thing they want. Yeah. So, and that's where the gambling issue comes in. So I hope it doesn't become a huge thing. I don't want to see, I don't even think there should be a games rating board. I honestly think it should just be, you know what? Parents let their kids play what they want, and parents need to keep track of what their kids are playing. But because parents didn't, that's why we had to have it, so you can't buy Call of Duty if you're 17 at an EB Games or a GameStop now. So I understand that. So I hope that companies don't push it too far. But I think EA may have tipped it here, since everyone's talking about now, okay, what's going on. I don't want to talk about China because, to be honest, the government is all over everything in China, so it's maybe not the greatest example to use, but we don't want to become China. That's, I think, what we're saying.
Yeah.
So I think, anyway, that's put more air into microtransactions than I really want to, but I hate them, so we need to shit on them a little bit.
Yeah. No, just especially with the way they tried to do things this year for progression. Leave it in mobile games.
Or even free console games. Make the console game free and say, look, you have to pay through microtransactions. Other stuff that kicked ass this year, I'll just make a couple of notes.
I want to put in one of my other suck things is
yes, please.
Destiny 2.
Oh, fuck Destiny 2. Fuck.
Yeah. I got tricked.
I
wasn't going to buy it, right?
Yeah.
And then a couple of my friends got it, and they're like, oh, it's actually fun. And then I got it. It was fun. It wasn't really that much different. Yeah. Then I kind of went crazy on that game and then didn't game for a while because I lost my mind in the raid on some people.
Yeah.
But then I hear that what they pulled is the DLC came out, the first expansion, and then you can't do like Nightfalls in the original raid.
So they blocked out content from the original release if you didn't get it. That's bullshit.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That is bullshit.
And
DLC should be DLC should be you can't play the new parts till you pay for it. I understand that. We put money into the game. You want new parts, you have to pay for it.
Don't fuck with the old parts.
Don't fuck with the old parts.
So fuck Destiny, fuck Bungie.
Yeah, no, they've gone off the fucking deep end. Honestly,
if anyone thinks that multiplayer is good, it's a fucking trash game.
Oh dear God, it's awful for multiplayer.
I'm over it. I don't want to play the game anymore. Next subject. Fuck Destiny.
I played Destiny 1, which is why I never wanted to play Destiny 2. But anyway, moving on. So some other stuff I thought that kicked ass this year. Some kind of minor notes. Ruiner, very fun game. Hard as balls, twitchy, kind of third-person shooter, melee game. If you like that, it's fantastic. Get into it. Great aesthetic, great gameplay, but only about 10-15 hours of gameplay. But really great. If you like the kind of Shadowrun cyberpunk world, it absolutely hits that fix.
A cool setting.
Cool setting. And very fun, but not a lot of game to it, especially once you get a little bit good at it. I already mentioned the Okami release. So I'm going to go on to, before we get on to any more hype for next year, Kickstarter. Kickstarter this year, not many great new games on crowdfunding, but a couple of really great ones released. My game of the year was a Kickstarter, but a couple of ones honorable mentions. Hat in Time, I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at that. Hat in Time. They call it a cute as heck collectathon platformer. It's very much in the spirit of Super Mario 64. Mm-hmm. Great. It's basically, speaking of sucked ass, Banjo, was it Ukulele, the Banjo-Kazooie one? Anyway, it was an N64 game. They kickstarted it, won by the same team with a different name. Yeah. Sucked. This was what that tried to be. Lots of cool action-adventure gameplay, collecting various items to build up your spaceship and do stuff. So that one was a lot of fun. And Battle Chasers Night War.
Still haven't got that one
Still haven't got it. Worth a try. It's a very kind of SNES era RPG game. So if you like the Final Fantasies, Dragon,
cool.
Breath of Fire,
pick it up.
Yeah.
I bought too many games though this last couple days.
Yeah, you got to catch up on them, right?
I got to catch up on a lot of games.
But it's a good one too. Was a Kickstarter. Very much if you love those old games, but with a more modern aesthetic. I loved it. The only thing I didn't like was some of the randomly generated dungeons, but they actually worked well, so it was okay. So there's that. So getting on to my honorable kick-assness mention of the year, Cuphead.
Yeah.
Loved Cuphead. This one's been hyped forever. You know, what was it? I think our very first E3 extravaganza thing we did, we were talking about Cuphead. Yeah. We were like, that looks really cool. This one lived up to the hype and then some. I know we've got... First of all, I'd like to talk a little bit about the controversy about how being a difficult game, it was exclusionary to the, variety of people. I saw this on... to people who think that a game being difficult is a bad thing, fuck you. I'm sorry, I'm not that great at games. I'm decent. I'm not MLG Pro by any means, but I'm a decent gamer. I like games that challenge my skill.
I wasn't very good at Cuphead.
I was not very good. Yeah, exactly. But the point is that Cuphead is very strictly the type of game that says, here's a challenge. Figure out how to deal with it. And that's the whole game. I mean, it looks fucking gorgeous on top of that. Yeah. The animation was amazing. Though apparently, I don't know if you saw this. I try to leave Polygon and Kotaku out of conversations because no one gives a fuck about them anymore. But did you see that they shit on the game because the aesthetic they used was from a racist era of history?
That's stupid.
Because That was like, because it's like the 1920s, 30s anime. They're like, oh yeah, it was used to make racist cartoons and shit. And like, so what?
Yeah, the game wasn't really anything racist in the game.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing racist in the game at all. Who cares? It looks
if
like
any game setting is in an era where there was racism, the game is bad now.
Right. Like Okami was made to look like classic Japanese paintings, and they were racist as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
All right, ban all the games.
Yeah. Anyway, but I just thought I'd mention that because I saw that someone pointed that out to me on Twitter the other day, and I'm like,
stupid.
That's here's something offensive for you. That's pants on head retarded, is what that is.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on.
You know what? They probably didn't. They probably couldn't even beat the tutorial. So
no, that's right. They couldn't beat the tutorial. But overall, fantastic game. Love the aesthetic. Love the challenge. Absolutely just a blast to play. That game is like just fun. And I've never seen a game that's so absurd in the way it sets things up that's still so much fun. Like, it makes no sense. Why does he drink from his own head when he's getting warmed up to fight a battle? Why do you fight a giant cigar who's constantly smoking himself? You know what I mean? Like, who knows? And who cares? It's very fun.
Fun game.
Blast to play. But on to my most kick-ass of the year. Kickstarter game, a couple years in the running. I believe late, as is true of every Kickstarter game ever made, but I'm okay with that. Don't kickstart shit if you want it on time, people. It doesn't happen. Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yeah.
Did you play the first?
A little bit of it.
A little bit of it, okay. So for those who haven't, it's basically more of the same in the first with a very minor change to the way status works, but it is a absolute blast. If you like tactical role-playing games, whether they're old ones like Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem style things, this is the game for you. Great story. It feels like it's going to end like 60 hours in, and then it's like, nope, there's like another 30 hours for you to go here.
Yeah.
And just absolute blast to play. Great voice acting. I have a party that consists of a dwarven pirate, a skeleton, who is confused as to why everyone has flesh and there aren't other skeletons roaming around the world, a lizard man, and
I hated that guy.
the Red Prince, he's a dick, and an Arabian type warrior dude something. I forget his name, but he looked kind of like a Middle Eastern warrior, Ibn something. I forget.
Yeah, I think that's the guy I always started, but I didn't go very far.
Very fun game. If you like the tactical RPGs, fantastic, great story. Also, you can kill anything. If you don't like this way this city is, wipe out all the guards, kill the merchants, and take all their stuff and move on. You have to be strong enough to do it, but you can do it. So, yeah, to me, that is my game of the year. Do you have a game for the year?
Oh, game of the year. It's a tough one.
There wasn't a whole lot to stand out this year, you know what I mean?
I really liked... The games I liked the most were probably the ones I played on my Switch. So that would have been Mario Rabbids Battle Kingdom.
Yeah.
I had so much fun with that game.
That's on my... I'll get into that in a minute, but that's on my hype that I haven't had a chance to play this year yet. Because I don't have a Switch yet, so...
Yeah, and then Breath of the Wild, Zelda Breath of the Wild was a lot of fun.
That is my number one. Actually, it's my second. My number one is Mario Odyssey.
Yeah,
I want to give that a go.
Mario Odyssey, that game was so much fun. So those were probably my top games in the year. I wouldn't really say I have like a number one. I think they're all really good. They're different from each other, and like they filled my RPG-ness, my like puzzle solving, like Battle Kingdoms, like the turn-based, and it's just such a fun game. So
yeah, and it's interesting because for the last couple of years we've seen a lot of games come out that have kind of dominated the scene that have been okay. You can play these on PC, you can play them on all the consoles or whatever. It seems interesting that this year, and it's really disappointed me, I should have gotten a Switch, and I probably will next year, that the games that seem to be the big standouts are the ones that, they're Nintendo games.
Yeah.
And it's like, when I grew up, you didn't say you had a video game console, you had a Nintendo.
Yeah.
I have a Sega? No, you have a Sega Nintendo, you have a Nintendo Sega system, or whatever. I have an Atari? No, it's a Nintendo. Let's go home and play Nintendo. It was Atari, Sega, even when the PlayStation came out, that's still what we called it. So, to me, it's interesting that not only are they still hanging on, and they have not gone the way of Sega, but they've stayed very Japanese. They've stayed very true to the old, you know what? We're not really going to worry so much about the graphics. Yeah. We're just going to make a fun game. And yet they've managed to stay.
They're fun games. It's like... And they've made so many of the same games with the same characters, but they just do such a really awesome job with it. And
well, if I remember correctly, the top 3 selling franchises of all time are all Nintendo characters. It's Zelda, Mario, and Pokemon.
Like a million games each one. Yeah. So
But they're all most.
Yeah.
I mean, Mario's a little different. There have been a lot of shitty Mario games, not the mainstream ones, but like Mario Soccer and Mario Tennis, Mario Golf.
Mario Golf's pretty sweet.
It's all right, but I mean, compared to the main ones. But my point is, there's been a few crappy ones of those. But like, I can't think of a Zelda game, even Hyrule Warriors, the Dynasty Warriors Zelda game was still fun. So
I didn't play it, but I'm sure it would be.
We'll have to play that. It's good multiplayer. I have it for the Wii U. But yeah, like Mario just keeps getting better. Zelda just keeps getting better. Even the ones that aren't the best of the series. Like I think it's Sky.
It just makes me excited for all the next where they got Kirby coming out, Metroid 4.
Yes.
They got
hopefully a real Metroid sequel like what we've been waiting for.
It's the Pokemon game. So whatever it is, I don't know. I'm pumped for it. I just want
whatever. Pokemon's amusing, and that it's never really changed much since it came out. I still have somewhere in a box my Pokemon Blue and Red.
Yeah. I have
and
my red on my.
Apart
Game
from
Boy.
graphical updates, there and you can do 2-on-2 battles, but it's really the same game. You run around, you fight some cool things, you catch some of them, and you beat up other people's cool things.
Yeah.
And it really hasn't changed that much. So yeah, I think if I were to pick a company that this year has gone to where they have done good and not crap, it's really been Nintendo. They've just had a great year.
I saw Thick Daddy Reggie at the Game Awards, and that guy, proud dad of all his games, and yeah,
there you
good
go.
Guy.
Speaking of the Game Awards, I saw a Twitter post about it that pretty much summed it up. The here are the annual game advertisements with a few awards thrown in between.
And eBay. Did you get anything on eBay after that? I'm like, people still use eBay for stuff? Like,
yeah. Okay. But yeah, so a couple of the ones that I really have wanted to play this year but haven't gotten around to yet, or I haven't had a system that I want to borrow, or I don't have a system I want to borrow. When I may need to borrow your PlayStation 4 sometime if you're cool with it, if it's still collecting dust.
I'm playing it.
We have Persona 5 I've wanted to give a try too. That's received a lot of hype. We've got Breath of the Wild I mentioned. Prey I've heard some good things about. I haven't had a chance to get into that yet.
Prey is cool.
I'm told it's cool, but I want to wait for a price drop.
What is it? It's like $40 now. I bought it full price because it looked cool, and I just wanted to try something cool looking on my PC. Very fun game. The foam gun is cool in that game.
Nice.
Because you can just like make walls and climb around, and you can explore a lot. It's a really cool game.
I really like the look.
I didn't actually end up beating it. I should go back to it, but it's a great game.
Samurai Warriors 4, one I don't know if I really love the Warriors series. Samurai Warriors 4, The Spirit of Sonata is the new one. South Park, Fractured But Whole, haven't tried it yet. I'm actually going back through the other one. I'm told it's actually still funny, but the gameplay's a little worse than the previous, I've been told.
It's funny. The game's funny. The game's okay. The combat, you can only really hit like forward and backwards with a few abilities you can hit up and down.
Yeah.
But it's just like after playing like tactical combat in the Mario Rabbids, like it's just the combat wasn't that great. Like, it was fun.
It feels like they threw from what I've seen in videos. From what I've seen in videos, it feels like they threw into it to make it say, "Hey, we can have a tactical game too."
Yeah.
And it's really more of a lane game. And I think that's about it for ones that I missed this year. Oh, a couple more that really sucked, disappointing. I won't spend too long on. Berserk and Band of the Hawk. It's a Warriors game for Berserk, which should have been the greatest thing ever, but played as this slow, plodding, okay, it's fun to hack people into pieces for half an hour, but then terribly boring game. Torment, Tides of Numenera, worst Kickstarter game of the year. I didn't play it till a while after it was released. A big thing with it was that it was kickstarted as a sequel to Planescape Torment, which was a very cool RPG in the Baldur's Gate system with a lot of text, a lot of talking, but deep story, choices that mattered. This had no choices that mattered and almost no story and incredibly crappy tactical gameplay. It was one of those ones, you remember how Mass Effect, there was the whole thing about how you can change the game by just picking a different choice at the end, how you played up to that point didn't matter. This was exactly the same. So I saw almost every possible ending to the game by just saving right before the end segment and just picking a different choice at a couple of different spots. So not a fan.
What I do want to say though, I had a lot of fun with Andromeda.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Andromeda, I haven't purchased, I have played.
No point really now. Because because I don't know, I had a lot of fun with it. I've always liked Mass Effect, other than the multiplayer. Yeah. And
it's a good third-person shooter.
It's a good third-person shooter. The combat was really good in this one. The abilities are really cool. The combos, because I always play as a biotic. Yeah. And it was an awesome game. The story was pretty cool. There was some weird facial animation stuff, but I don't know.
That's one of those things why, you know what?
Over that,
this is one of those things, though. Don't pre-order a game, buy it after the first patch.
Yeah.
And apparently it's all been fixed. Like, all the wonky animation stuff been
fixed.
fixed.
I thought the game was great, but then they're just like, okay, yeah, we're not going to release any DLC, we're not going to support the game, there's no more games, it's canceled.
Well, I think part of the problem is
awesome.
that, first of all, they shit on too many people with Mass Effect 3. They killed a huge part of the fan base, and this one did nothing to win it back. Like, when you have a bomb like that, and again, I define bomb loosely because it still probably made $100 million, but I don't know if it made back its budget. That's the thing. So when you have something fall flat like that, you have to do something big to say, we want to bring you back in. And it sounds like...
Not just be like, oh, hey, all you people that did support us, fuck you.
Yeah.
Is basically what it feels like.
Yeah, so it feels like there was nothing wrong with the game, but because it already had this stink about it, I would have waited another 5 years before releasing another Mass Effect game, in my opinion, because I think that universe has the gameplay style I like.
And a lot of potential.
The universe has potential. So I'll bet you again, same thing. 5-10 years from now, once the stink has worn off of Mass Effect 3, they'll release some more. But yeah, I don't...
probably end up in the pile with all the other developers they've killed, so...
Well, there is that. They're going to the scrap heap. Pyre. I don't know if you play any other Supergiant games, Bastion or Transistor.
No, I own Transistor. I haven't played it yet.
Okay,
but yeah, I saw because someone someone in Twitch show it was like, oh hey, like Pyre looks like a cool game, and I was like, oh, I'll go check it out. And then I saw not recommended by you, and I was just like, all right, I'm not getting that game.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say about Pyre. I bought it because Supergiant has made great games. Bastion is a really cool third-person...
I've heard so many good things about it.
Yeah, it's great, and it's got a great story, but you have to look for it in the game. Transistor, same thing. They show, they don't tell the story, which I like, because I don't like games where they... some guy comes out and says, this is the plot that's happened, and this is what we have to worry about, whereas those games are very more atmospheric, and you'll learn about the plot, but it happens through it. Pyre... Here's my problem with it. I'm told the visual novel aspect is great. You talk to all these different people. You're basically doing this thing to try and free them from this kind of purgatory type place you're trapped in. The problem is the game is so bad. Excuse me, I got something in my mouth. It's like... I don't even know how to describe it. I called it Suicide Football the game. Because basically you've got 3 guys and a football, for lack of a better term. And you're trying to run the football into the opponent's pyre, which is where the name of the game comes. That self-destructs your guy and earns you a point. And then you don't get that guy back until either someone else scores or the other team gets a point. So I'm told the visual novel is great. It looks beautiful, and I'm told the story is great. But I could not stand to play the game. And it comes down to that thing where it's being like, the game should not annoy me into doing things I don't like in order to get to the parts I like. Right? It's the same thing why I don't like games that have a giant grind. So this game had that. You can't advance the story until you play the Suicide Football game, and I just really didn't like it. Now, it's got a huge positive rating. A lot of people really love it, and I understand why some people might love it, but I need some game to my games. I will play a game that has really stupid story and crappy voice acting and stuff, even terrible graphics, as long as they're not the worst on earth, if the game is really fun.
Yeah.
I still play 10 or 20-year-old games that didn't look great when they came out. But the game's great. And this was one that was gorgeous, and the story seemed cool, but the game... So I refunded it. I only got in about an hour and 45 minutes, played a few matches of Suicide Football, read the story of these characters, and there's little pop-ups that come up that you can click on for more info, and I just didn't like it. That being said, your mileage may vary. I'm sure if one of our 5 viewers watches this, they'll give me shit in the comments about it because it was such a beloved game, but I absolutely hated it. So yeah, if Suicide Football sounds like fun, though, by all means, pick it up. And last but not least, on my shit list, Dawn of War 3. I was a huge... first of all, I love 40K. I'm actually a 40K player in real life. I have about a 4,000 point Space Marine army. I paint. I model. I love the universe. Love the universe.
It's a great universe.
But I don't know what it is about Games Workshop and just not having any oversight about the games they license out, because there are so many shit games. However, Dawn of War 1 and 2, while both very different games, were good. Number 1, great little real-time strategy game. Number 2, more of a character-focused action RPG, but still a fun game. Number 3, fucking Dota fucking Warhammer 40K edition. Absolute fucking nonsense. Not only, like, there's like, oh, everyone wants base building back. Let's give them back a base. Great, you get 2 buildings, which are just your spawn points.
Yeah, it's like a cannon. Like, you get like a defensive cannon.
And and a turret. And then you can capture points on the map. I don't want to play that game.
No.
Dota exists, okay? League of Legends exists. Heroes of the Storm exists. You know, all these other games, they exist. We didn't need another one in that universe. What we wanted was
if you were going to do it,
yeah,
make it more like those games and not whatever the fuck that game was.
Yeah, like why there's not like there's a lack of 40k characters that you couldn't have a character-based lane defense game.
Yeah, you could do that, but like it was like a single lane with like more open middle, and it's like,
yeah,
all right, you gotta go kill their base,
and you're gonna build units of guys.
Yeah.
Like units of guys don't make sense in a game like that.
Yeah, you gotta what, capture the resource. Right, you just played the beta. You gotta capture the resource points.
Yeah.
Build some guys. And then just like call in fucking.
And occasionally you can call in some juggernauts. Exactly. It really and it's all and the thing that got me is it's all one player doing this. Like the big draw to the Dota style game is you've got a hero. You're responsible for working with everyone else's. So you've made it like a real time strategy Dota hybrid. What was the term that I've heard it called? Ass faggots. Someone called it, it's like another something like gay. Anyway, it spells out ass faggots. It's for all the Dota styles. I don't look down on them that much. They're not my style of game. But that being said, it's that style of game. So, whatever. Big bomb dropped. Big disappointment because I was so hyped. The teaser trailer looked fucking amazing. And it's like, we finally get to use knights and, all this cool stuff. Anyway. Big bomb. So that being said, that's about how I felt about this year. But let's talk a little bit about what we're hyped about coming up.
Oh, I got one more thing.
Oh, one more thing?
For a game. I just bought it last night. And I played it this morning.
Oh, riding high on this one.
It's an early access game.
Okay.
I think it might be a Kickstarter game. I don't know. I really don't know a whole lot about it. It's called They Are Billions.
They Are Billions. I actually got that. I was not a fan. But I think I will be a fan.
Yeah. I've played a couple games of it today.
Yeah.
I was playing that before Metal Gear.
Yeah.
And it was fun. Like, the idea was pretty cool. Like, the whole idea, so, like, the world's been...
There's a zombie apocalypse.
Ravaged by zombies, typical thing. And you start out, you just got, like, your command center, like, it's like a RTS, like StarCraft or Warcraft
it's the town hall
something.
in Warcraft.
You got your town hall, command center, Nexus,
whatever you want to
call it. To be.
Yeah.
You start with, like, a couple of rangers that have bows, and 4 rangers, and then, like,
you get one guy
soldier with a gun.
Yeah.
And, I got destroyed, like, my first playthrough. I was like, okay, it's going pretty good, because you have, like, a limited area of control to start out with, and you got to get resources.
You must construct additional pylons to expand it.
I didn't understand, like, anything what I was doing. And I was like, build some walls, build some things. So I was like, I had some ballistas, and I was defending, and I had, like, it was almost like Attack on Titan. Like, I had multiple walls.
Layers of walls,
I would wall myself in, and then as I would need to expand, I would then expand with, like, the basically pylons.
Yeah.
Build a new wall, so I'd have, like, the multiple walls. But then I didn't have that many guards because I needed workers, but I didn't have any room to expand, and I didn't...
Yep.
And then I kind of got into a little situation. Then it's just like, hey, the zombies are coming from the west, and then it was just... every wall fell.
Yes. I will say, here's what I have to say about that game, actually, because I think it has a ton of potential.
Yeah.
What I didn't like about it are 2 things. One is that they don't tell you, no one makes any noise if they're being attacked. So my first 6 or 7 games of that were
you
lost
really gotta pay attention.
because, like, I scrolled the screen down slightly, a zombie snuck in, infected 8 other people who infected my main, and it's like, no one screamed, like, oh my god, there's zombies.
Yeah.
The game doesn't give you a little ping, right? So that was really annoying. I didn't like...
Yeah, because I had the same thing happen in my last game I played. I had, like, 4 guys lined up, and, like, he somehow, like, got between, like, stuck between them, got to my little fishing hut, killed it, started infecting stuff, and all of a sudden, all my guards are at the perimeter. I didn't have walls yet, because I was, like, really aggressively expanding to get iron, so I wanted more gun guys. And all of a sudden, my base is just attacked by zombies, and I was just like, fuck.
And then it's just like, game over. I'm like, what the fuck game over? Like, there was one zombie snuck. So I will say that game looks like a ton of fucking potential. I didn't like it right now, because I got it right when it was released for early access.
Yeah, I just got it last night.
But I have 90% certain that I will be jumping back into that one hardcore as early access progresses and as the game continues on. So that's for Kickstarter, or not Kickstarter, early access. You'll get your money's worth out of it.
My buddy and I were buying Euro Truck Simulator. So
Euro Truck Simulator? Okay.
It was $5.
Okay. I think I got it as a Humble Bundle a while ago.
So we're getting into it.
That's one of those Zen games. I actually don't.
We're gonna be the Amazon dildo delivery trucks.
Amazon dildo delivery trucks. Okay. It's I never understood some of those games, like people who buy Train Simulator and spend $3,000 on it. But you know what? Sometimes it's nice just to have a kind of zen, relaxing. You know what? I want to fucking chill
get in
and
a trucking convoy and just roll through Europe.
There you go.
And hopefully drive on the right side of the road.
Yeah,
or is that only in Britain that they drive on the right side of the road?
That's a good question. I should probably figure that out if I ever go to Europe.
I'll find out when I hit someone head on in the game, I guess. I'll let you know.
When you get the big dump truck or something and it fucking smash it. just don't.
Or I'd be like, is he wrong or am I wrong? What if we're both in North America, we're both on the wrong side of the road? Or we think they're on the right.
And he's trying to just promise me you're not going to go all truck of peace on people, and you're
no.
Don't do it on purpose.
That's not me.
That's not me. Perfect. So hyping up for next year. One of the big things I'm looking forward to is the inevitable release of Skyrim for the consoles in cars on the self-driving cameras, as well as mobile devices and Nokias from 1989. Yeah. Because Skyrim has not yet been released on everything yet. I'm very disappointed in Mr. Howard. I think he needs to get on that.
We could probably get it on an Etch-a-Sketch.
He's letting us down. It hasn't been released on enough platforms.
Yeah.
It just hasn't.
Yeah. Why make more games?
Why? Yeah. Well, exactly. Why make more games?
It should just be the only game that ever gets sold anymore.
Yeah. No. Like thousands of years from now, people will excavate, and pull up computers, and they'll just be like, there is one thing that linked Western societies together, and that is every device.
Alduin.
Every device had a copy of Skyrim on it, and they'll be they will sing the song, that chanting song, as if it was a real thing that people worshipped, because we all had to unite.
We all were Dovahkiin.
It was like Ender's Game. Everyone was being prepared to defeat the real Alduin by playing the video game. We had to be prepared. So, but in all seriousness, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I don't know if you've seen that. That looks fucking sweet.
My one buddy's like, I'm getting Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Are you getting it? I was just like, yeah, sure. Let's get into it. I checked it out. I'm like, looks pretty dope. Yeah, it
looks pretty fucking sweet. I'll be all over that. I love the series. That was kind of when I grew up. I was a little bit of a weeb, or an otaku if you're being more polite. And that was my. I'm kind of dating myself here. I was a kid in the 90s, but that was I was there when it first hit.
Yeah.
If you look online, you can see pictures of me from conventions, probably, if you looked hard enough with some of the voice actors. Like, I was big into it. And I haven't gotten into the new Dragon Ball yet, because I've kind of left it behind, but that game looks like this is the fighting game that Dragon Ball was meant for.
Yeah, no, it looks awesome.
It looks very sweet. I love those, because it's the Guilty Gear guys doing it, right? I think so, the same studio?
I honestly don't really know much about the game. I just looked at some screenshots and watched some videos. It's like, looks sick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the Guilty Gear studio, or at least some of the guys from that studio are involved. So it just looks sweet. EA Sports UFC 3 due out next year.
It's probably gonna be shit.
It probably is gonna be shit. I like the first one. We had a lot of fun with.
I heard. Was it what game came out? Because there was some controversy over it that everything's tied to loot boxes now in the UFC games.
I don't know, honestly. I
thought that game was already out or something, because someone was talking about it.
Okay.
Or maybe they just got word or tested it ahead of time or something.
Could be.
But apparently, every stat now is tied to the loot box.
Oh, well, that's fucking lame. So we can't train our guy by running the Ho Chi Minh Trail anymore.
We can't get... Is it Randy
Carter?
Randy Napalm Carter.
Randy Napalm Carter. Someday we will share the legend of Randy Napalm Carter.
That would have been some high quality entertainment. 7 hours we played that game.
Yeah, because we got that free on your EA Access or whatever.
Free on EA Access.
Yeah, that was that. Fun. That made it worth EA Access.
I think to me now, EA games are EA Access. I'm not going to buy any EA games.
I haven't bought one since I have the Origins Access, which is the PC version. I haven't bought a game from EA since, because everything ends up on there after 6 months with all the DLC most of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, we can buy the game for $80.
And the games are just going downhill drastically, so...
Yeah. Yeah, EA is one of those things. I know they've got a reputation for cannibalizing other studios, and I think it's well earned. I think 90% of the time, nothing good original comes from them. Most of their good stuff is, hey, we bought this studio, we're going to try and squeeze a couple of games out of them, add microtransactions or whatever. So we'll see. But I do like the UFC games.
I just want to say, I'm not hyped for Anthem anymore.
Oh, yeah?
I think the game's going to be terrible.
Well, we shall see.
I'll bet all my Bitcoin on it.
Bet all your Bitcoin on it. Okay.
Bitcoin. But if I did, I'd bet that game's gonna be a microtransaction nightmare. It's gonna be a piece of shit game because EA just fucking sucks.
All right. I'd bet all my Dogecoin on it.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Which doubled in value recently. I went up to like $8 in Dogecoin or something. Yeah, which only cost me like $2 to buy or something back in the day. So it's good.
Sell.
And I found out I do actually have some Bitcoin.
Do you?
Yeah, like 0.0000124 something, which is still worth something like $1.85. So if it busts, I'm not out anything, because I remember a ways back. I had spent, I think, $0.25 on it is what I spent on it. And so now it's worth something like $1.80. Because I think someone told me it was way up and then it dumped again a bit. And
it was up to like 20 grand almost.
And it went down
to like 13
or something. So, yeah, hey, it might be a good time. The people who bought it for $50 and it's now worth, $50,000, now might be a good time to sell.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah, we can bet our Ethereum on it too. That's the other one that's going up and down right now.
I almost bought some of that, and I would have tripled my money.
Yeah, the problem is we talk about tripling our money off this, but we're probably talking about buying $10 or something.
Yeah,
where so it's like okay,
I would have bought at 300 and went to like 1,000.
Yeah, which is still not bad, but whatever. Last but not least, though, one more game I am looking forward to. I'm not a huge fan of Ubisoft games in general, but Far Cry 5. I don't know if you've seen some of these stuff. This one I find interesting because, first of all, I like Far Cry.
Yeah. It looks cool.
It does get a little repetitive. I don't know if you've seen the latest controversy about this, though, and this is actually what makes me interested in it a little bit more. So, I don't know if you remember...
It's like a domestic white terrorist
Well, when it was
group,
first
right?
released, this is the thing. It looked like a domestic white terrorist group. It's not. It's got black people and brown people and everyone else in it. So naturally, all of the politically correct game outlets online have shit themselves over the fact that it is just a Christian fundamentalist group that includes lots of black people and other people, and is not just a white group that they can kill indiscriminately. So I found that very because they released some footage where some of the guys from the Klan or whatever it is. It's a black guy who's holding a white guy to be beaten for not following the commands of the religious leader or whatever it is.
Okay.
Which actually makes sense because black people are Christians too.
Yeah.
So apparently it's not like a KKK white nationalist thing. It's just like an ultra-Christian, backwoods, we have 16 wives. And
did someone swear on their Minecraft server and that pissed them off?
I have no idea. But anyway, it looks good. I've enjoyed Far Cry so far. Primal was a little slow for me.
That's actually what I do in PUBG now. Every time I go into PUBG and we're on the plane, I just say I'm VoIP. I just invite everyone to my Christian Minecraft server. I don't actually have one, but that's my new thing.
Just I'd like to talk to you about
hey, anyone want to join my Christian Minecraft server? And then everyone's just like, fuck you.
You get all the Chinese sounding guys.
Or I'll just say China number 6. But, yeah.
There you go. But yeah, so that's kind of what I'm looking forward to. Not a whole lot huge on the horizon, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. What am I looking for? There's not really a whole lot that I... Monster Hunter.
Oh, I should have mentioned that. Yeah, Monster Hunter looks pretty sweet.
That game is dope.
That looks
sweet. I played a bit of it on PlayStation in the beta.
Yeah.
I've been playing this Dauntless game on PC.
Okay.
It's like a really shitty version. It's a good game, but I think it came out and they were working on it before Monster Hunter World was announced.
Oh,
and then Monster Hunter World came out and it's just okay, that game's 1,000 times better than our game. So they're kind of fucked now. But.
Yeah, I've liked the Monster Hunter series. I've played it since the second. I didn't get in at the beginning, but it's a fun game, so I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm just going to hope that Mountain Blade comes out next year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's been, a couple years it's been in development now. I really like the first Mountain Blade.
Yeah, I want it. I want it so bad.
Mountain Blade, though, is made a million times better with the mod that lets you have 1,000 guys on screen instead of 50.
Yeah.
Because then it's okay, now this is a war.
Yeah.
What was it, Marmadukes or Marmalukes, something I used to like carrying around, the heavy horsemen?
Mamluks,
yeah.
The Arabian armored horsemen.
Yeah, they were cool. That game was just so much fun. Just fucking around.
Yeah, I always played as the Khanate. I just love being a horse archer.
I like the Vikings. I usually started as, but I would always
their
end up.
Huskarls are really strong.
Yeah, I would always end up.
They are really good at sieging.
Breaking away and forming my own kingdom at some point.
No, I couldn't do that to the con.
I couldn't do that to the con. You're loyal to the con.
I was loyal to the con.
Loyal to the con.
Sergeant Con.
Yes. Well, there we go. I think we can definitely agree that 2017 has been a year.
Yeah, it's been a good year.
It has been, with
Did
the Earth.
you see that Death Stranding trailer?
Okay, so I've put this on my Twitter and stuff. I am convinced at this point Death Stranding is an elaborate joke by Mads Mikkelsen, Norman Reedus, and Hideo Kojima, and he's hired a CG team just to fuck with... Because this is the sort of thing that Kojima would do, to be honest.
Their Cup Noodle Gangster picture?
Yes, I follow him on Twitter.
Oh.
But yeah, I am convinced at this point this is Kojima fucking with us. He's making a completely different game that has nothing to do with this, and this is just like... him probably fucking with Konami, to be honest, but also fucking with everyone else in the process.
Yeah, no,
he's gonna be like, I can sell more games based on a trailer. For
I was
a game
watching
that
the trailer. I'm sitting at my computer. I'm just like this. I'm just like, what am I watching? Like, what is going on?
Oh,
yeah,
geez.
no, game looks fucked.
Seriously, if it ever comes out, it looks fucking cool. I don't know what to say about what it is.
I have no idea.
Like I said, it's possible they don't even know. Maybe he's having like a giant writer's block and he's like, listen, this is just a bunch of shit I thought of one day while I was high. Make a CG of it and keep them busy till I think of a game.
Yeah. I like how it works too. The Norman Reedus is just like, hey, thanks for like giving me clothes this time. Yeah, no, game looks fucked.
It honestly, if it whatever it is, it looks fucking cool.
2020, we'll see that game.
Yeah, something like that. Who knows?
Oh. Yeah, but no, it's been a good year. It's been a fun year.
Yeah, it has been a revolution of the Earth around the sun. Not a bad year, not an outstanding year, but a decent year. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to next year. And in the meantime, it's not as if there aren't a crap ton of other games. As we write this, record this, the Steam Winter Sale is going on.
I've bought a few games.
I think I actually managed to spend less than $10 this time, and that's because I actually sale sniped a bunch of 90% off stuff that was like $2 each.
I saw a really good deal on Shower with Your Dad Simulator 2015. It was like 67 cents.
67 cents.
I didn't buy it.
Down from 99 cents.
Looked like a really great deal. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we love you, Steam, for bringing us great games like Shower with Your Dad Simulator. And,
I was just flipping through Steam and I saw, I'm like, what is this game? But... no, I picked up the Rainbow Six Year 3 Season Pass today.
Yeah, okay.
I love that game. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Lots of new operators coming out.
Nice.
It's just fun.
Yeah, I never got into it huge, but it looks like it's a good one.
Yeah, like they got on sale, 'cause I don't know how it exactly works. Like the base game is either $29.99, where you like unlock stuff normally, but I think it's like for $11 you can just get the game, but you unlock operators differently.
Okay.
I don't know how you unlock them differently, but yeah, no, it's for $11. Who knows?
You're gonna get $11 entertainment out of that game.
Yeah,
that's
you're
for
gonna
sure.
get $11 entertainment, even if you just have to play as the recruit all the time.
Yeah, you're still gonna get $11.
You're still gonna get $11 entertainment out of it, and I don't know how. Like, I'm sure it's really grindy to unlock even just the regular operators, because it's grindy to unlock the season pass ones.
Yeah,
but
the game itself
it's not
is fun
a grind.
enough
It's just you're playing the game. You just don't have all the operators. So
yeah, and the game itself is fun enough just to play. That's not going to be a huge deal.
No.
All right.
But yeah, no, I think it's been a good year, and
it's been a good year.
That's all I got.
Pretty much. So I think we'll leave you until next year. Hopefully sometime in the new year you'll hear from us more often than 2 or 3 times a year. Permitting, of course. We both have real life jobs. We are not YouTube sensations or Twitch stars. Feel free to send us money if you want, regardless. Yeah. But this will be Victor von Frankenstein wishing you a happy Christmas and a Merry New Year.
Yep, and same from me, Gapper, and have a good one. We'll see you in 2018.
See you in 2018.